Hello, this is Shaji. Welcome to the new video lesson for C programming course. And in the previous video lesson we have seen how to use switch if you have multiple selective instructions to be executed. And in one of our previous video we have done the for loop for the iterative process. So today in this video now we are going to see something other than for loops, one more type of iterative processing loop. We are going to try it out, and that is do while loop. So it is more or less similar to for loop, but of course there are certain differences. And this was the program which we have tried for the for loop. Let me simplify it, the program, just to print numbers from 1 to 100 using for loop. So this is just a revision. With the background of this one we can see how the do while loop is done. So here we have the for loop, and here we have a variable I which is of integer, and for loop we have here in the for loop the initial value of I is set as 1, j is 100, and the maximum value, the final we are not using j, sorry, so I am going to delete j, just we are using I. So initial value of I is 1 and final value of I is 100, and increment in steps of 1. Every time I will be incremented in steps of 1. So we will be getting print of I. So this is the program. Sorry. Let me come and execute this one. Before that, let me save it. File. Save as. This is do loop. So another program. Let me execute this program, compile and run. F9. Some problem, it is giving some error. Okay, in this program it is asking for the return type. Return 0. Okay, let us try once again. Execute, compile and run. Okay, I suppose the main method is asking for the arguments, so I am going to give these arguments here. So main method is taking two arguments, argument C and argument B, which is a pointer array. Let us try with the arguments. No. So then what is the error? We have some syntax error before I. So before I we have main and its curly bracket open, int I, syntax before bracket, token bracket. So I equal to this one. So I am not getting any error to find. Okay, let me cut the entire part. Let me save it, execute, compile and run. Okay, now this part of the program is okay. So this is a way of debugging errors. If you have some errors, actually this was not my lesson to say you about, but in between it got stuck with some error. So somehow we have to trace it out. This is a way to find the errors. So I'm not sure where the error is exactly coming, so I am going to debug step by step. So I think any error is there on this declaration part into I. Of course there is no error. That means the error is in the for loop. Where is it? So let me find it. For, okay, I got it. For I equal to 1, after this I equal to 1, there should be a semicolon to separate for the final condition. Actually this was the error. Okay, this is a way to find errors if you have some error somewhere. So the doubtful code, either you can cut or you can comment using / for single line, or multi lines can be commented with the help of /* and ending with */, if you don't remember. This is multi-line commenting. Multi-line commenting means this many lines of code will not be executed, the ones between these two slashes. So this is the syntax for giving multi-line comment. So if the program is giving error in somewhere in some part of the program, this way we can comment or we can cut so that it is in the clipboard. Again you can paste, don't worry about the program code to re-enter again and again. Okay, we found the error, now the problem is over. So actually this program I equal to 1 and I equal to 100, that means I is going to be incremented from 1 to 100 in steps of 1. So the program will print the numbers from 1 to 100. Yes, let us see. Execute, compile and run. Yeah, it is done. So it is printing I equal to 1 up to I equal to 100. Press any key to continue. Yeah, so that's it. This is the for loop for printing this one. So previously we have seen we can segment this one, like the initial value you can give initially I equal to 0. So that means, sorry, I equal to 1. That means no need to give I equal to 1 here. So that part is over. And the increment value you can give at the end. So I plus this part of the code you can bring it here. Of course for the syntax sake you have to give semicolon here. Yes, I greater than or equal to. Yeah, that must be there, otherwise the loop will not exit. So this also will give the same way. So initial value is given initially and the increment value is given finally, and the checking is done at the beginning of the loop, that is within the for loop itself. So compile and run. Yeah, it is giving the same output, so no problem. Where is it? Yeah, this is our program. And so let us try to change this loop into do loop. Actually do is another loop just like for loop. Okay, I'll comment this for loop. So this for loop will not be working. Do then the curly bracket, this is the block. So we need to give the exit condition. So we have to give a construct called while with the do, so that it will be giving the exit condition. So this is our exit condition, I less than or equal to 100. So I am going to copy it here, paste it over here, and we need a semicolon here because the loop is ending there. And what else will see? Execute, compile and run. Yeah, the program is giving same output, numbers from 1 to 100. So that means, excuse me, that means we can use do loop more or less similar ways as we are using for the for loop. So initial value is given initially, exit value is given at the end, and increment value is given within the block of code. And there is one difference between this for loop and do loop, because do loop is an entry condition. So whatever value you give, it will execute for at least one time. how to see that. Okay, let me try. I is less than or equal to 0. So already the value of I is 1. So in that case, anyhow this condition is wrong. This part of the code should not be executed according to the exit logic, but I suppose it will execute once because this is an exit controlled loop. So the checking will be done only when it is exit. See, we got the output I equal to 1. So that means it is checking for the condition only at the time of exit. So entry time there is no checking, it is checking only at the time of exit. The same code if you try with the do here, instead of for loop I am going to comment the do and I am going to activate these for, and if we give the same value of 0, let us see what is going to happen. So this is the exit condition for this for. So now we have only for loop, the do loop is commented. So execute, compile and run. See, we are not getting any value printed, that means because of 0, so it got exited. And here if you give 1, let's see, compile and run, 1 is being printed in the case of for loop. So in the case of 0, initially itself it got the exit condition, it will not enter into the for loop. So for loop is an entry condition loop and while loop is an exit condition loop. If you want to try the same thing with the while loop, that also we will try. So we will enable the do loop and we will disable the for loop for time being, and let us see how it is being done. So while loop we have the exit value of 1. So execute, compile and run. So here the value is okay because I equal to 1. At the exit time the value is being checked. So I is incremented to I++, so we got the exit condition. So do while loop is an exit controlled loop. So this is a major difference between the for loop and do while loop. And one thing more, do while loop after the exit condition we need a semicolon, but in the case of for loop, even at the end of the last curly bracket we are not going to give any semicolon. So this while loop, because we need the semicolon because this is the end of the block or this statement is being completed here. So that is the logic behind giving semicolon over here. So do while loop is another loop similar to for loop, but it is an exit controlled loop. So this thing can be used with some kind of repeated operation. So previously in the previous video we have done a calculator program. So there we have used switch cases. We can do different arithmetic operation, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, etc. If you want to do it again and again continuously, of course you can go for this do loop. You can give the switch within the do so that it will repeatedly execute the part of the code and your calculator will be repeatedly execute again and again. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you followed this video lessons, and in case if you have any doubt, please feel free to contact me. My email ID is it_teacher1@yahoo.com. Thank you for watching this video. Bye.